So I'm hoping to go to different corporations, different associations, not for profit, for profit, and give them the Inspire One challenge, so they can inspire one person a day, and then through the ripple effect, we will reach billions.
Welcome to the Rotary Big Ideas podcast, where we celebrate big ideas that are sparking positive change in Ottawa and around the world. I'm your host, Rashid, and on each episode, we meet a change maker and a big idea. Today, our guest is Atif Rashid, an inspirational speaker. His story is so inspiring. I mean, who is better to tell us this story than the main character himself? So, what is your big idea?
My big idea: inspire one, impact billions. Emotional poverty is becoming a global pandemic. We're facing a lot of challenges. And my idea is one person a day. We can inspire one person a day and really connect with that person authentically. So really, I give talks on stages to promote the idea. And really, just like any other movement, I think we need to work collectively to heal ourselves emotionally.
Thank you for sharing that. I'd like to know what inspired you to start this movement.
I'll take you back 18 years ago when I moved to Halifax, Nova Scotia from Pakistan to pursue my education. I still remember walking into the international students office at Dalhousie University and telling the representative there that I have no friends and I don't know what to do. I feel like I just can't cope with this culture shock and everything. And on top of that, full course load. And she actually put up an ad on the website that Atif Rashid is new in Canada, looking for friends. So it was almost like a funny, comical thing. I was this desperate for connection. The first person I met in Halifax was just randomly. We finished our midterms, and David and I didn't do very well, and he needed someone to chat. And of course, I was craving for connection, and we just instantly bonded together, talked about the exam, how it was not so, it didn't go very well for us, and then we instantly became good friends. And so fast forward to 2010 when David was diagnosed with cancer in his right leg, and not knowing how he's going through, but still I was there for him, trying to comfort him in that difficult time. He lost his leg to cancer and went through excruciatingly painful chemotherapy. And not knowing that 5 years later, I'll be in the same bed, losing my leg to cancer. And I found David every day comforting me, being I call it in a funny way, is my amputation subject matter expert. He was always there on Skype with me, showing me that life is not going to change for you. You're going to be fine. Just look at me. So he was right there every single day, an example for me to who did so well. So instantly I didn't become depressed or anxious about the future. At that time, I had 11 months old son who was growing, trying to walk. And here I was losing my leg to cancer and had no ability to walk anymore. And all those things really were stressing me out. But David really took care of it mentally. He became my ally in that movement. He kind of pulled me out of that the state of depression and anxiety. And then fast forward to 4 years ago, I was attending this conference. And this amazing speaker, Karina LeBlanc, spoke at that event in Ottawa. And that time I felt like I had to share my story with her. So I got up and I told her, I wish I could go on a stage someday like you and share my story. And the words that almost like she baptized me in the moment. She said to me, Atif, you're already there. Exact same words I share as part of my talks. And that changed everything for me, basically. I basically became unstoppable, shared story after story, my story, and helped others to tell their stories. And that's where the birth of the movement basically started, that movement, Inspire One, Impact Billions. And I wanted to be able to tell my story, but not only that, inspire others to tell their stories and really value their existence as human beings, right? So that's kind of where the birth of the movement happened, Inspire One, Impact Billions.
I just want to ask, are you currently cancer-free right now?
Yes, indeed. And I'm happy to report that I celebrated my 10th year anniversary of amputation on 23rd of February. So it was 23rd of February 2015 when I actually went through amputation. I was actually on that exact day, 23rd February 2025. I was at the Ottawa Storytellers telling my story. And I was sharing how humor literally saved my life. Because I remember when doctors told me I have cancer, all I did was watching stand-up comedy shows. That was my way of coping with this enormous stress, anxiety, and the hopelessness. So I was sharing with them all about the story and the things I've gone through over the last 10 years and how I'm so happy to be alive. And speaking with you right now, Bashir, right? So it's such an amazing thing if you really are mindful that our act of breathing, the being, and when we are given his bodies and souls, the responsibility on us we have is being authentic. So I think being having cancer and losing my leg is a gift now that I'm able to be more authentic, become more authentic, and also allow others to be their authentic self by my word.
So I need to digest that. This is very inspiring. So that's one thing that I like about this podcast is when we have those folks who come and I get to be inspired before the audience gets inspired. Thank you so much for sharing that. We know that life sometimes there are ups and downs. So I wonder, like right now, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, even on a daily basis, sometimes I'm sure you feel down. And when that happens, what do you do?
No, definitely. And that's kind of what part of my talks is when I give talks is an important part. I talk about it. It's not that you're not going to go through challenges. You're going to go through challenges maybe daily, maybe weekly, maybe yearly, and you're going to go in dark places in your mind where there's no hope for me now, right? But the beauty of it is that we can have tools ready for us to really go back. When we are depressed and anxious, we go in a very low energy cycle where we just don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. So we got to bring ourselves back up, right? So, and again, it might sound funny, the book called The Positive Dog. The concept is you become what you feed the most. It's not that you're not going to have a negative thoughts. You're not going to have some anxious or depressing thoughts. It's the fact that you can counter them with the positivity around you, right? So I listened to the book. It's a small book, so it's I can finish it on a high speed, like a 1.5 speed, in 45 minutes. So I listened to that, and I personally do stand-up comedy as well to cope with my personal challenges. So what I do, I just go on. I did a couple of weeks ago. I was at Yuck Yucks. So I did set at Yuck Yucks to talk about some of the jokes I've been writing myself. Right. So it has become part of my personality. So humor is a huge part. Even Viktor Frankl, I don't know if you're aware of Viktor Frankl, who survived Holocaust, but what the gift he has left for us is the ability for us to use humor, and a technique he uses called paradoxical intention. So I personally apply that technique. So basically, when you are afraid of something or not sure of something, you use paradoxical intention. You think about that even more. So I tell often my audience, if you're scared of taking up an exam or course, just think of it that you're going to do the absolutely worst job at it, and then your picture is going to be in the middle of the campus. This guy did the worst job at it. So it almost puts a humorous spin on your situation. You forget the stress of the situation. You start laughing at it. That's called paradoxical intention. So I would definitely recommend my audience read the book called Man's Search for Meaning, written by Viktor Frankl. And also, for your go-to book, I personally have it, The Positive Dog, ready to go when I'm not feeling up to the challenge. And I use it. And journaling has been a lifesaver. So a couple of weeks ago, I was just not feeling the energy that I normally feel, the positive energy. I was just feeling everything negative around me, right? And what I do, I put my thoughts on top of the paper, what I'm going through, really explain the problem. What is it that is bothering me, right? And when it's on the piece of paper, and scientifically, this process is called psychoneuromotor activity. So our whole entire body is involved. Our motor neurons, our psychologically, our brain is fully involved in that process. Just thinking about something or typing something is completely different. Actually, physically writing by your hand is a process where you can really get those thoughts out of your head. And then on the bottom of the paper, I write down what's the smallest thing I can do today to make a progress or get myself out of that mindset or mentality or the situation I'm facing right now. And that allows me to feel accomplished, that I've done something about it, right? That allows me to kind of build that resilience back up. And then whenever I know I'm going to get stressed again, I know it. I laugh at it. Okay, that's what I know what I need to do. So this is why I tell my audience, building resilience is not just a one-time thing. You got to do it on a daily basis. Just like you're going to the gym, right? You got to do that one act of kindness. You got to do that journaling if you're not doing very well. You got to have that go-to book for yourself that you just listen to when you're not feeling well.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm thinking in terms of your big idea, which is inspire one, impact billions. So can you tell us of some stories, maybe one or two, of people that have been impacted by the work that you're doing?
One story I mentioned really, it inspired me actually. So a couple of years ago, I was visiting Pakistan to see my parents. And I decided, okay, I'm going to give a talk at a local university. So it was second year students, and I was like 50 students in the classroom, and I gave a talk about my upbringing in Pakistan, how I was abused as a child, and I lived an entire childhood as a deaf child. So I have I'm partially deaf, so I don't hear anything from my right ear completely. But I received no support as a child, and I talked a lot, right? And my teacher would always send me to the end of the class, and that would not help either, right? Because I can't really hear anything the teacher says. So I went through a lot of things where I was not allowed to be who I am truly, whether with my deafness. I was left-handed in Pakistan, so in Pakistan you're not allowed to. It's not considered a good thing to write or do things with your left hand. So being a left-handed was difficult because I was always forced to write and do things with my right hand. So I was sharing my story in that classroom. See what happens there. So I told them about this mission, Inspire One Impact. I want to inspire just one person from this audience today. And that is my goal. If one person changes the way they think about their life, their circumstances, that makes my day. And as I leave the classroom after delivering my talk, and a just young girl came running towards me. She just wants to tell me something. So she came and told me that I just shared with my teacher, but also she sent me to you, that you said you want to inspire that one person. I'm that one person. It makes me cry when I talk about it. She said, I've been blind from my right eye, and I was so embarrassed to tell anyone in my classroom or my teachers. And today I found the courage to tell everyone that's me, the beautiful me. And that inspired me. Like how I can just by saying a few words can change someone's entire life trajectory, how they think about their beautiful self. And I just put my finger on her head, like that's where everything is. You gotta find the true beauty that you are. And today you did. But I truly believe she will inspire so many other girls when she will speak to them about her experience, finding her, I should say, independence, that she just is not in this mental cage anymore, that she has to hide her, in her case, blindness. And that's such an inspirational moment for me. And there are so many events like that where people just came up to me and shared with me, opened their heart to me, because they truly felt what I'm trying to do is truly connect, help others connect, and be their authentic self.
Well, that is a very moving story, to be honest. So I wonder, so basically you do this, the way you inspire one and impact billion is through speeches, mainly.
Yeah.
So do other thing to impact.
So yeah, so I've been actually, so I'm a public servant, so within the public service, I've been giving talks. So whether it's, I've given talks at Environment Canada, Share Services, CRAs, entire public service. And I'm trying to inspire people within the public service. And I give talks in the private sector, give associations, organizations. I give talks, and I make videos as well on my YouTube, my social media, my Instagram, my Facebook channels. And recently, a couple of weeks ago, I started doing to make it more mainstream, the concept of Inspire One Impact Billions, Inspire One Challenge. And I've done about 10 interviews, quick interviews with people on the street or different events, and they've been really eye-opening for me, that people are so easy to connect to. So I asked them 3 questions. Tell me something you can remember right now someone said to you, did for you, that truly motivated and inspired you. And the things I've heard are amazing. They go and they really think and talk about just day-to-day stuff. Nothing that big thing happened, just day-to-day stuff. So we have to make these day-to-day connections more authentic, more mindful. And the second question I asked them is if they truly think that through this small act of kindness, we can really make a positive world. And normally, of course, the answer is, of course, yes. And they tell me why that is. And the third question I asked them, what if you were to inspire someone? What would you say to them? It really opens them up like a beautiful flower. They tell me about their thoughts. It just you see their true beauty by just asking just three questions. And really, I truly believe in this mission through these street interviews, my talks, or wherever I am. I basically go to local schools. So I've been going to the Catholic school board, public school board as well. So local schools. I've given talks at the U Ottawa, so many universities. I'm a CPA, so I also give talks through CPA Ontario as well. Current students, new students, and professionals. Yeah, and then recently I've been invited to speak at a global forum in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, for the Project Management Forum. So I'm taking it global, actually. So it's exciting.
That is inspiring. So I'm thinking in terms of course, you say inspire one, impact a billion. I think that more as a slogan. So do you really want to, impact a billion people? And if so, how do you do that?
I truly believe everyone be inspired actually goes and inspire others, creating that ripple effect. So I truly believe the ripple effect of inspiration. If you allow someone to be their authentic self around you, then you can believe that this person is going to inspire many others. But the idea is you got to do your job is to inspire one person. Don't think about the billions. That will happen. Just like the book Atomic Habits. It talks about that small atomic action or habit. I say do your small act every single day. Make a habit. Make a just daily exercise to be more authentic with someone today, whether through being someone's accountability partner. If someone is struggling with their work or whatever or schedule, ask them to be their accountability partner. It doesn't cost anything. Or share your personal story with someone to inspire them. Or just listening authentically to someone really inspires someone that you care. And I have had all those experiences with me. One of my best friend, a few years ago, when I was telling him, I want to be able to share my story on global stages and inspire people and start this movement. And he said, Atif, write on a piece of paper and send a picture of this to me on my phone. I'll hold you accountable. And I was like, whoa, okay. That's awesome because, he believes in me. That just shows a person cares. And there's these small things you can do, or simply thank someone. Thank you for whatever you're doing, right? It goes a long way. It inspires people to do even better or inspire many others. So by doing these small actions, we can reach billions for sure. I fully believe in that.
Beautiful. What are some of the biggest challenges that you have to face?
Biggest challenges? Nobody knew me 4 years ago, because I never spoke on a stage. So for me, being able to develop my brand as a speaker, it was something that required a lot of footwork. It was tiring because I was walking on a prosthetic leg and going to all the networking events. So I've been to countless networking events in Ottawa and Toronto. So really being there, telling people about my idea and really refining it, because one thing is knowing your story, and then another thing is how do you tell a story? It's a craft. You got to learn. So it took me a couple of years to really kind of get a handle of how do I tell my story, and really believing in the stories by being able to do some research. So I've been doing a lot of research on the idea of massive change, how people have done it before. So it doesn't matter which field, which domain you are in. It's all about its small idea and focusing on the idea. So in my own consulting firm as well, I focus on that idea. So no matter what you're going through, it's going to be the one thing you need to focus on and do it on a consistent basis to get better at it. That's one challenge, is really creating my brand. So I've done that over the last couple of years. And so I got to be able to effectively utilize social media to spread the word. I've got the idea, I've got the passion, and I've got a proof, a product that it works. I have a bunch of stories, and now I've started recently the Inspire One Challenge, because I knew to really, for this movement, Inspire One Impact Billions to work, we got to start a challenge. And so I'm hoping to go to different corporations, different associations, not for profit, for profit, and give them the Inspire One Challenge so they can inspire one person a day. And then through the ripple effect, we will reach billions.
That is amazing. I think we are nearing the end.
One thing I want to share, though, with you. So when I started giving talks, the Ottawa Hospital donated a replica of Terry Fox's leg. Is it okay if I share right now, just to kind of show how it looks like?
Okay, sure.
The reason I share, I take it with me during my talks. So this is just a very basic prosthetic leg. So basically, what it is a piece of pipe and a foot and basically a pylon. Like this is a knee, right? That's what the Terry Fox was wearing. So the reason I show it to tell people it's not about how much you have, it's about what you do with what you have. And I was reading the research done was Dr. Arthur Brooks. He wrote the book called Create the Life You Want. He talks about it that when you are a giver, it doesn't matter what you're going through, give to someone what you don't have. Let's say if you were stressed out about something, just say something kind to someone else. It changes your whole brain chemistry. But your brain thinks, okay, this guy is not he's not focusing on the problem, he's focusing on the solution. So it's not about the amount, magnitude. It's about that small thing you can do for someone. So this is why I show this leg that Terry Fox had almost, this was not a leg that he could run on, but he did it because this belief that what he had was something that he could give to people, leave them with a mission. And that's kind of where I want to do is leave people with a mission. Yeah, that's kind of where I want to, why I show this leg. Hope it makes sense.
It did make sense. Thank you so much for joining this podcast today.
Thank you, Rashid, for having me on this podcast. Appreciate it. And you know what? You have become part of this movement, and I have allowed my voice to go to a wider audience through your podcast. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I truly believe through doing this small act of kindness, we can create a more positive world, more connected world, more resilient world. So my mission is to build a more resilient world. And I think that it takes the global movement to that.
Thank you for listening and watching. And keep in mind, if you want to make a difference or have a big idea to help others, Rotary is a great organization to connect with and become part of. Check us out. Until next time then, when I ask, what's your big idea?